Streets is very real. They not a myth. Streets will take everything away from you. Everything you love, everything you cherish, everything you want to aspire to be could be taken from you in a matter of not being able to critically think. Today we talking about this Durk situation. You know what I mean, him, the murder for hires, what the feds is doing, how they going after him. I'm gonna be honest, yo. A lot of this stuff is really confusing to me. There's so many different moving parts to stuff like this. And when I see, what they trying to fight for, I mean, Durk had a bond hearing today. His bond hearing got thrown out. Well, yesterday, his bond hearing got thrown out. Well, not thrown out. They denied it. Excuse me. They denied it. I mean, they still got the murder for hire jacket on him, but they taking away this whole song thing. The Aha song, the Quando Rondo crying, screaming no. They was able to prove that the song had been recorded 7 months prior. But the only thing about critical thinking is I'm saying, damn, if you had that type of content in your music and then you see something, happen like this later on, whether you was tied to it or not, you gotta kind of, yo, we ain't putting that song out or change the lyrics or something, right? But they're now trying to link Durk to these two other dudes. And when I tell you these two other dudes is just like these dudes is bozos, man. One dude in particular, extreme bozo, talks too much. And this is a thing that you gotta realize. And I'm telling y'all, stay out the streets. But the thing that's unavoidable is you're gonna have people who just make bad decisions with whatever it is that you're doing. And those people is gonna get you tied up and caught up and put you in bad situations. So it's this dude, his name is Montgomery, right? His last name Montgomery, or it might be his first name Montgomery. And him and another dude is alleged to have taken the life of somebody who has something to do with Durk's brother D thing losing his life. Now, this dude Montgomery, he left his phone in a getaway car. I'm gonna say it again. Dude left his phone in a getaway car. And when they found this phone, they found a lot of stuff that they now are using against him. And rightfully so. It's like these dudes who get into these situations, there's so many different ways to avoid, right? But once you start taking that leap of being, this is what I'm gonna do, at least be good at your job. These niggas is sloppy as hell. All right, so look, this dude Montgomery, right? Montgomery Wilson, he was getting asked by the other dude, right? The other dude that was allegedly committed this murder with him. And the dude's name is Powell. And Powell, they got them on text. And this is just crazy how they got everything. I told you, every time you get an iOS update and you say you agree, you signing up for all types of stuff, right? And Powell, he asks him, what's up with OTF? Montgomery responds, nothing. He said, what you mean, they not paying? Montgomery responds, we wait until he comes up here on the 17th. And Powell says, all right, bro. It's like, yo, like what? Then, right, they having more conversations. And the conversations, I mean, the dude, Powell, I guess he changes his numbers up and stuff, but he hits him up. He says, in the car, what you doing? Montgomery says, at this interview shit. He says, shit. He said, you got it. He said, not that type of interview. It's the little shit the rapper be doing. So before they had him saying OTF and then they saying the rapper, right? And then they saying they interviewing individual A, right? So individual A, they probably have his Durk in the paperwork or whatever, right? Then Montgomery says, yeah. Then he says, what you doing at this little interview shit? He asks him again for a job. He says, the shit the rapper be doing. He says, what? He says, and it says individual A had an interview. So the interview that's in question, or the interview they talking about, is the $1 million worth of game shit or whatever, right? So what's crazy is like, yo, bro, you really got to watch who you keep, the company you keep, man. I mean, that's a lesson that everybody said. I remember my grandmother used to tell me that, like, watch the company you keep, watch the people you be around, like all of that type stuff. And I mean, hypothetically speaking, if any of this comes out that is true or whatever, then it is what it is. But if not, like, these dudes is just super duper reckless. But that's not it. The dude Montgomery, right? I guess what's his name was hitting him up, and he says, you know, he hit him again. He says individual A gave you that money, and Montgomery Wilson stopped responding, right? It says the following day, Montgomery Wilson was arrested by Illinois State Police. It says on March 2nd, 2022, a Facebook story was uploaded to Montgomery Wilson's Facebook account that detected Montgomery Wilson holding money while playing individual A's song in the background, and the lyrics from the song were displayed over Montgomery Wilson and the money. Montgomery Wilson's Facebook story is attached. Bro, like, social media, the need to be seen, the need to feel like if I'm not posting it, then it's not happening or it's not getting done. It's just insane, man. I mean, like, the stuff that these dudes do, if you, like, guess what, yo? Criminal acts is going to be criminal acts. Violence is going to be violence. Nobody can stop it. But at the point where you treating it like it's a sport and you showing your highlights or highlighting certain things and trying to put, like, you're leaving the trail. Like, this is the thing that people don't talk about. Because when you say the streets is a myth, the streets is a myth, no, they're not a myth. People go out in the streets every day trying to find themselves, trying to figure out what the next thing there is that they go, the next thing is that they going to do. The next wave that they going to catch, the next op they going to run down on, man. And the thing, remember I said about, you know, Montgomery Wilson, he was talking all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying, on the phone, or they going back and forth on the phone or whatever. He gets locked up. And when he gets locked up, they put a rat in the room with him. They put a rat in the room with him. And he don't know, but he's still running his mouth. And this is the stuff that brings these dumbasses down, like, for real. But look, right? This is Montgomery Wilson talking. He says, yeah, I had the standard. Folk with a 60 round in that bitch. On mic. Let 3 shots out. When he first came out, Marley said to me, wait until you get to his car. Your ass tweaking. By the time he gets to his car, that's enough time to get a pipe. The confidential source says, scratch off anything. He says, man, I'll who soon as he makes it halfway down the street, half between our car and his car, bust the door. He already was on the car when he first came out the door. Dude says, he on your car? He says, he was on our car when he first came out of the door. He looked like it was behind tent. Now, again, man, I just want to point out the fact that, like, being a criminal is a tough job. It might be the toughest job because you have to watch everybody, and there's no real level of success, right? It's like, for these guys who's low-level criminals, taking whatever they could get to do anything, to harm people, do whatever they doing, wrecking the streets up, they still 5, 10, 15 steps ahead of you. You get caught up for whatever you get caught up for, they put you in a cell, and you don't even know that you're in a cell with somebody that's lining you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know that you're getting lined up, but this dude is so happy and fast to run his mouth that he can't even see the lineup coming. He was lining people up, and he can't even see a lineup that's right in front of him. But beyond that, man, it's this lawyer, and I seen this lawyer before. He covers all this different stuff with Durk, but he has some stuff to say about, like, prior to the bond hearing and then after the bond hearing. Let's watch one of those videos, and we'll come back and then talk about the next video after that.
On Lil Durk, you've probably seen his lawyer Drew Finling doing interviews all over the hip-hop platforms. I think it's because he's got something cooking up. Tomorrow, there's a bond hearing where Durk is going to ask for a bond based on new information. What's the new information? Well, his lawyers basically are arguing that the indictment that was recently filed, the second superseding indictment, makes a completely different case against Durk than the case that the prosecutors presented to the judge back in December of 2024 when the bond was first denied. What the defense argues is that, look, this new indictment removes 2 allegations. First, they completely got rid of any allegation that Durk rapped about this murder for hire plot, that Durk rapped about Quando Rondo on the news going, no, no, and crying in response to the murder of his friend. This is very important because what the defense is going to be able to argue to the judge is, look, judge, we proved to them that they're wrong because those lyrics were recorded 7 months before the murder. Those lyrics could not have had anything to do with the murder. And what they did in response to us proving that to them is they just took that allegation right out of the indictment. And now they're not even alleging that he rapped about the murder. And that was a huge part of their original case. And so without that, their case is much weaker. We deserve a bond. The other thing that the defense is arguing.
Now, seeing that, of course, we, spoke about that prior, and it makes their case weaker. But like seeing what these other guys got going on is wild, yo. Like these dudes is just talking reckless, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's going to come back to bite them in their ass, man. I mean, ultimately, every time one of these situations go down, it's always somebody pointing the finger. And even if they going to get 100 years along with them, they just want to make sure that they're not going to have to be in the same place as them or something. But here's some more videos, you know what I mean, with this lawyer and them talking about all these different things, man. It's just, listen, man, choose something other than the streets. I ain't going to front. It's nasty out here.
Is that in the second superseding indictment, the government took out another very key allegation against Durk. The government had alleged that Durk, through co-defendant Wilson, paid bounties to the shooters in this alleged murder for hire plot. In the second superseding indictment, that allegation is gone. Instead of alleging that Durk, through co-defendant Wilson, paid the bounty, there's now a new charge called stalking resulting in murder, where there's no direct allegation of a bounty being paid through Wilson or anyone else. Instead, the allegations are limited to Durk was orchestrating surveillance on this guy, Durk sent shooters to LA, Durk let it be known that he would put money up, even though there's no allegation that he actually did pay the bounty through a co-defendant or somebody else. And so what the defense is going to be able to present at tomorrow's bond hearing is, hey, judge, we moved to dismiss this case by pointing out all the factual errors in the government's case. What the government did is they changed their case and they removed key allegations against our client. And so you have to look at their new case and now reevaluate the bond. If Durk gets a bond, that's going to tell you a lot about what the judge thinks about this second superseding indictment, which is in fact significantly different and significantly weaker and less aggressive in terms of how it charges Durk as being responsible for this.
And the more you know, right? But it's so many different things, man. Like I said, this shit is so much, yo. It's so much. I mean, Durk's trial is coming up in, what is it, in October, I believe. He's trying to fight from home. Don't look like they're going to let him out. But, his father spoke about how he was, at his bond hearing today. Let's talk about it.
We're looking for our day in court. This was a bond hearing, expectation of this bond hearing where it was at. But we're looking to go to the district court before the real judge, and then, not saying she's not a real judge.
No, I know.
Right, just go before the real judge. And
the
then,
trial judge.
The trial judge, and then let him hear our case and see what he said about it.
How's your son holding up?
Oh, he's strong, focused. You see the smile that was on his face, both during the time and afterwards of her ruling. He's still smiling, he's still strong. He's standing on his faith, and believing that God will make a way for him.
Yeah, bro, I'm just telling y'all, man, like, if you can, avoid these problems, man. For the young brothers and sisters out there, just avoid as much as you possibly can, because it's so much going on that could put you behind, you know what I mean? 1 step forward, 20 steps back. Seeing Durk work as hard as he did to be in a position he put himself in as an artist and a star, kid rose to new heights, Grammys, you know what I'm saying? Biggest records of his life, all of that. Definitely on his way. And now this is what he's fighting just to get back to normalcy. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, but let's watch this last video, you know what I'm saying, about the bond hearing, and then we're going to close it out, y'all.
Update on Lil Durk. He had his bond hearing today. He looked good. He looked like he was in good spirits. No crazy weight gain or anything like that. He looked good. The judge was on the same vibes she was on last time, which is that, wait, they're saying murder for hire. They're saying you put bounties up. They're saying you ordered the shooters. They're saying the shooters shot. I'm saying that's going to be no bond. There's basically no argument you can make to this judge in a murder for hire case to get a bond. The one silver lining for the defense is that the prosecution's case has taken two major hits. One, the prosecution has had to abandon their allegation that he rapped and celebrated about this murder, that he put these lyrics out talking about, oh yeah, I got you, you out here screaming no, no, crying in the street. The prosecution had to back away from that allegation. It was proven false. They need that allegation, and now they're not going to be able to have it. The other allegation they backed away from, which is huge, it shows the weakening of the case. Previously, the prosecution had alleged that Durk paid the bounty for the death through one of his co-defendants, and they named the co-defendant. Now they've backed off that allegation. They're not actually saying that Durk paid the bounty through the co-defendant or anyone else. And the fact that they're not saying...
The next episode of Dragon Ball Z is going to be one to watch. Nah, for real though, man. Like I said, this is an unfortunate situation. Even with them two guys, I mean, like I feel like that's the only thing, aside from the other ones, because they're not really speaking about the other alleged guys who was involved in this, but those two guys in particular, you know what I'm saying? Like, depending on what happens with them, might determine the fate of Durk's future. We're going to have to keep staying in tune. This is how I do it myself. For the ones that rock with me, know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. I catch y'all tonight on stream. Shouts out to my baby. Today is her 13th birthday, man. My youngest is 13 now. Boy, am I getting up there. I catch y'all later. Peace.